Hello and welcome back to the Astral Tourist Podcast, your gateway to the cosmic unknown, where we drift through liminal spaces, explore astral dimensions, and naturally ride elevators that are definitely interdimensional. Today's itinerary: a luxurious hotel with suspicious security protocols, a cruise ship featuring one of those sketchy elevators, and a witchy upgrade you won't want to miss. Grab your astral passports and let's fly. So, in my first astral projection last night, I was just zoning out. I became lucid while I was zoning out and vibing in a hotel room somewhere on the astral plane. So this was a spontaneous astral projection. I'm just getting over jet lag. I'm actually recovered from it now, and we'll be doing more direct astral projections starting tonight actually, but this was a spontaneous one. So I was becoming lucid in this hotel room. It was a really nice place, tastefully decorated, huge floor-to-ceiling window, very aesthetic, but it was also pretty exposed. It overlooked a lush green lawn bathed in twilight. The sky was hazy, streaked with soft violets and a few dusty blues, mostly violets though. And then there he was, a man with short wavy black hair, just hanging out outside the window, trying to see through it. It looked like he was having some trouble with that, but might be seeing partially through it. Now, I did notice I had a velveteen curtain, which is representative of their psychic wards and things that they already had in place at this place. So I quickly closed it. But I used my 360-degree vision to peek through. This is a tip and a trick I've talked about before. Instead of a panoramic view, if you use it on the ground, it can be disorienting, but it can help you see through walls and around corners too, by the way. And yeah, he was still there. He was drifting away, and then I noticed he looked back, and he returned and hovered right there outside the window again. So I told him telepathically. I could tell he could sense something was in the room, or maybe me. I wasn't sure. I was still only partially lucid. I come into these places tired, because they're resting areas. So I told him, no, sir, this is private astral property. I mean, I knew it wasn't mine, but it was the hotels or whoever was sponsoring the space. He wasn't going anywhere. So naturally, I did what any seasoned astral traveler would do. I slapped on my own psychic lock, just layered it right over the default one, like a bit of spiritual duct tape, runes and everything. I went full out, like if I'm going to secure the room and maybe wake up because of the effort, at least I'm going to make it nice for the next person, So I was pretty annoyed. I knew I had prepaid an energy exchange to phase into that space and rest without interference. I just somehow already knew that. And I know myself, and I know I tend to overpay and overtrade. I give more than I expect in return, which is a good practice in the astral. So I had a receipt, metaphorically speaking, and in this case, a bit of an attitude, which I don't usually have. Usually I'm way more easygoing, but I was just irritated because I don't even know why anymore. I don't remember. And it's not usually really like me, but I expected that peace and ability to just be there and be in that space. And there's this man interfering, and I knew I had already reserved the space, and I was just irate. I really was. So being the responsible guest I am, I phased through the room door, which actually also led outside, but the man wasn't on that side of the place. So I guess this was a really big place, which is not unlike other places in the astral. A lot of times things are larger. So I floated around in the twilight and headed toward the main building to lodge a proper metaphysical complaint, or at least let them know what's going on. They need to fix their rooms. So I phased through the main building entrance into the lobby or whatever passed for it, and it was vast in there. It was like this whole big warehouse-sized space again, only it was really full with furniture, decor, things going on. People were in there. And I noticed right away in the center was a large circular metallic desk area, but nobody was manning it. No one was there, I guess, hence the lack security. No one was there to watch. I don't know. So still only half lucid. Like I was getting more and more lucid, but I was still only like, let's say half lucid. I decided to drift around a bit and see what all the activity was about. The place was like a luxurious, vibey lounge meets a magical artist commune. People were creating beautiful, ethereal things. One woman was composing a beautiful, floaty, spiritual song. Normally, I don't hear very well in the astral unless I'm close to someone. And, I was close to her as I drifted by, so I guess that's why I was able to hear some of it. So that was a rare treat for me. This place, it would have been perfect if it weren't for the lax security. At one point, a man floated over and asked what I do when I'm not working, and I just replied with meditate. I instantly regretted my one-word answer to him. I don't remember why I was so short with him, but I don't think it had anything to do with him. He was a stranger, so, I'm thinking maybe residual irritation from the window creep person. But this guy had already drifted off before I could apologize to him. And then someone else floated up to me, having overheard the telepathic exchange there. He gave me a warm smile and said, I like to meditate too. And, I felt really reassured. But then I got pulled back to my physical body. So I didn't actually get to talk with anyone really. But that's it. That was that experience. So moving on to the next one. And this next one is a wake back to bed one. I don't remember my actual astral exit, but I had the blackout phase. And then I phased into this room on a cruise ship. And again, this is another familiar area. It was a small, overcrowded room 907. And I recall being in 907 before, pretty vaguely. I think this is the room where, like 3 or 4 years ago, I met a woman, and it was just the two of us sharing the room. And she was talking about a Bigfoot stalking her, and she was worried about that. And so we had kind of this little discussion about Bigfoot or something. But this time it was overcrowded to the point where I could barely astrally breathe. And again, I became irritated. So I guess irritation is an ongoing thing for me last night. I don't know. And I phased right through the door out into the hallway. So I made this intention to phase into the reception area. However, I phased into a buffet area. I noticed the tables were loaded with exotic-looking fruits. Many looked like berries with kind of a jelly along the outside of them. I have no idea what they were in many cases here. There were other ones that I recognized, like different colored pineapples and things. But these other ones, these berries, I don't know what they were. I've never seen anything like those before, and I wondered if I was on a kind of a space cruise or something. I don't know still. I still don't know. Nobody noticed me or overheard my thoughts, even though it was kind of a crowded area. So I knew I was low energy still. And I could feel and sense I was in the future, though. Some of the fruits were in neon colors, and I often see vibrant tones when I phase to the future. Plus, it just has this feeling about it. I just knew. So while I was in this buffet area, I found a wonky elevator along the wall right in that area. Like it didn't have a separate hallway or anything. And it looked kind of luxurious, like the wall was decorated and everything. Instead of just being sleek or metallic or something, it was all done up. And I decided to try that out. I've had my fair share of experiences in elevators in the Astral before, but I figured at the least it might be amusing and would be more entertaining than where I had been in that overcrowded room. So I don't know why I didn't think to try the food. I should have tried one of those funky looking berries. I don't know, but I didn't. So instead I got in this elevator. There were already 3 or 4 others in there with me, possibly 5, but I could sense at least 3 or 4 clearly. But I also had the impression like 5 or 6, so I'm not sure. And we all pressed buttons like we were trying to hack a galactic vending machine. And then we all telepathed about it in fast forward motion. Another indicator of a future timeline for me is when telepathy sounds sped up. So we all decided to work together after chit-chatting really quickly, like I think less than a second here on Earth. We all had this figured out, like we were going to work together, which is one tip and trick for elevator rides in the Astral. Like if you're all pressing different buttons, it's really not going to work very well. You have to work together, get somebody where they're going, and then the others will help you get where you're going, and so on and so forth. So we decided to all try for floor 2. That was because, of course, there was no floor 1 listed. So we thought that might be like the closest to the reception area. But floor 2 grayed out on us, even though we all really tried for it. Some were pressing the button, some were sending energy to it, like Reiki energy and stuff, making intentions floor 2, but it went gray. And so then the number 4 lit up. There were other numbers listed, like 99 and some other ones and things. But they were grayed out, and some were phasing, like I think 37 lit up, but only momentarily. So I don't know if someone in our group thought 37 for a moment, or if that was had to do with something else. But the number 4 lit up really brightly, so we all agreed to try that one, and it worked. It worked. And I remember one person in particular, like a few of them were trying to press it, and some were telepathing, think energy at it, put energy at it. So I was like, floor 4, go, 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 go. We're going to 4, reception. Floor 4, reception. And it finally worked. We got to reception. So when the doors opened, we found ourselves on what I can only describe as a kind of heavenly DMV meets wellness spa, kind of. I don't know, like it was way better than a normal reception area on a cruise ship. Like way better, but also very, I don't know, clean, eerily serene, maybe more spa type. The complete opposite of the chaotic room 907. Yay again. This place had someone manning the reception area, so double yay. Someone was actually there. I pulled out my Astral ID card. I've spoken about Astral IDs before, so I won't get into too much detail, but I will describe this one. This time it was glowing, a glowing white rectangle, the size of a business card. It had 907 in large numbers with 303 in smaller blue numbers hovering beneath it. Sometimes my IDs only have numbers, so I thought, no big deal. Other times I'm pulling out like paperwork and stuff the size of huge encyclopedias. And in the future, things just keep getting smaller, I've noticed. Like this little tiny card with only numbers. Yeah, again, another sign of the future. I asked about changing rooms as I knew I had credits from not making other trips with them, even though I'd paid and then woken up instead of getting to go. So astral logic at work here. I was hoping I could get some kind of an exchange. That was my only hope, like just get me out of this room 907. If I'd been more lucid, I would have been all over that ship just talking to people and asking where I was and what the destinations were and everything. But I wasn't more lucid this time. And I will be more lucid from now on, now that I'm over the jet lag and stuff. But anyway, continuing on. The receptionist did not seem bothered. She was very poised, just started typing on like the super flat looking screen. Like she wasn't typing on the screen itself. She was doing something on the desk area. I didn't see it. I didn't think to look. And looking at the super flat screen, I should say, which was like, I don't know, paper thin. So I guess things get thinner in the future. It was kind of like she was doing a cosmic background check or something. I don't know. She was looking up everything about me. And she looked up and said, "You're eligible for a massive upgrade. It's called the Witch Vox House." So this is VOX, which is like voice, right? The translation for voice, like a witchy voice house. So I was eligible for something like house sized and not even a room upgrade. She said it's precision based, magical. So to me, it seemed a bit Harry Potter-esque, like a little Harry Potter or something. I don't know. And I wondered if it came with floating candles and a self-writing grimoire or what. And she mentioned the only condition for the upgrade is that 4 beings would be observing my reactions. And I only had a visual. She sent me a mental picture. I only had a mental visual of 3 of them. And one had like this notepad, like she was taking notes, and she looked really hopeful. Like, I really want to watch this. I really want to watch this. I want to see. So I know one of them was really excited, and the others, I don't know. I guess were just there. I didn't get a good look at them. And she explained it's kind of like being on a reality show, but spiritually sanctioned, like private too. Like if anything private happened in the room, it wouldn't be, necessarily shared or talked about except with those 4 beings. So being the fun-loving lady I am, I agreed. I mean, what am I going to do, in that room that can't be seen anyway? I'm out there for fun and usually just asking questions and things. And then I woke up before I could try it out. And now I really want to try out that room so bad. I do, but I didn't get that far. I woke up, so hopefully they have that on record. If I get back there again, hopefully I remember it. Yes, hopefully. Thumbs up here. As always, thanks so much for tuning in to The Astral Tourist. Please subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed the episode. Keep your astral passports handy, and happy astral travels.